It has survived ancient fires, Islamic conquests, and targeted hunts by the Nazi SS. Yet today, this single piece of cloth presents a profound physical mystery that our modern science still cannot fully resolve. Physically, the Shroud of Turin is a 14-foot piece of linen cloth, bearing the faint, unassuming image of a man who suffered severe physical trauma. For millions of people, this is the actual burial cloth of Jesus of Nazareth. For others, it is a clever medieval hoax fabricated to draw pilgrims to Europe. Determining its origin does not require blind faith. Instead, we can look at the results of over 600,000 hours of rigorous forensic investigation. The modern obsession with the shroud began in 1898, when an Italian amateur photographer named Secondo Pia set up his glass plates to take the very first picture of the ancient cloth. When Pia developed his plates in the darkroom, he found something unexpected. The faint, blurry markings on the cloth resolved into a highly detailed, perfect photographic negative. This presents a historical impossibility. A medieval artist would have to conceptualize and paint an anatomically precise photographic negative centuries before the camera was even invented. This single anomaly quickly forced modern researchers to realize they were not dealing with a simple painted forgery. In 1978, a team known as the Shroud of Turin Research Project, or STURP, arrived in Italy. 33 top-tier scientists, including nuclear physicists from Los Alamos, were granted direct access to run hands-on tests. After years of analyzing the data, STURP issued a definitive conclusion. There is absolutely no pigment, dye, or paint anywhere on the linen. Looking closely at the structural reality of the cloth, the discoloration sits entirely on the uppermost microscopic fibrils. It does not soak through or penetrate the fibers underneath. Because it was proven not to be a painting, scientists had to search for alternative mechanisms that could have formed the image. The investigation took a sharp turn in 1988, when 3 independent laboratories were allowed to conduct carbon-14 dating tests on a sample cut from the shroud's corner. The results were a major setback for the case for authenticity. The labs confidently dated the cloth to between 1260 and 1390 AD. The media and the broader scientific community instantly dismissed the shroud. It was declared a medieval forgery, and the investigation was largely abandoned. But a glaring contradiction remained. If the carbon dating was correct, it meant a 14th century forger somehow achieved feats of physics and biology that 20th century scientists still could not replicate. That contradiction remained until 2019, when a request force fortalice of the raw 1988 data. The review showed that the tested corner sample was structurally different from the main body of the shroud. The piece the labs dated was actually a medieval cotton patch. It had been dyed to match the original linen, a repair job used by nuns to fix fire damage. This chart displays wide-angle X-ray scattering, measuring how cellulose degrades over time. When we compare the rapid degradation curve of 14th century cotton against the deep structural degradation of the shroud's primary linen, the data places the main cloth at 2,000 years old. With the carbon dating flaw exposed, other lines of evidence gained new weight. Botanists examining the cloth found 38 specific pollen spores embedded in the weave that only bloom in springtime Jerusalem. Hematological tests confirm that the stains on the cloth are human blood, specifically type AB. The blood contains high levels of bilirubin, a specific medical marker released by the liver during extreme, prolonged trauma. The wounds themselves show specific anatomical precision, including 372 distinct lash marks and exact piercings through the wrists and heel bones, matching the known protocols of ancient Roman execution. Historically, the exact proportions of the face on the cloth map directly onto the earliest known depictions of Christ, including 7th century Roman coins, minted hundreds of years before the carbon dating window. To fake this artifact, a medieval hoaxer would have needed an impossible mastery of 20th century hematology, microscopic botany, ancient Roman execution protocols, and radiation physics. This leads back to a central problem. If there is no paint, dye, or pigment, what physical force burned this highly detailed negative image into the linen? Modern physicists spent 5 years trying to recreate the exact superficial discoloration by firing targeted ultraviolet lasers at identical linen samples. They found that replicating the image requires a highly specific event. It demands a burst of directional energy equaling 34 billion watts of light, flashing in 1/40th of a billionth of a second. As this chart reveals, comparing that 34 billion watt output against the absolute maximum capabilities of modern UV lasers shows the event far exceeds current technology. It acted like an energetic selfie, a flash of light so intense it left an indelible radiation-like imprint behind. The Shroud of Turin remains a physical anomaly, an artifact that forces rational minds to stare directly into the boundary between hard science and the miraculous.